Rizwan was born in a small, dusty village where life was measured not in opportunities, but in survival. His father was a farmer who spent long hours under the scorching sun, earning just enough to feed the family one modest meal a day. Their home was a simple mud hut with a leaking roof, and Rizwan's childhood was filled with struggles that many children in cities would never imagine. But Rizwan was different. Even as a child, he carried a spark in his eyes, a belief that his life was meant for something greater. While most of his friends were content with playing in the fields or helping their parents with farm work, Rizwan would often sit by the village well, staring at the horizon and dreaming of a life where he could achieve something extraordinary. School was not easy for him. His father could barely afford the school fees, and books were a luxury. Many times, Rizwan had to borrow tattered notebooks from older children in the village. He would walk miles barefoot to attend school, often hungry and exhausted. Yet, he never complained. Instead, he told himself, "This pain is temporary. My dream is permanent." The villagers would often laugh at him. "A farmer's son will always be a farmer," they said, shaking their heads whenever they saw him studying under the dim light of a kerosene lamp. But Rizwan paid no attention. Deep inside, he knew his journey was going to be different. That determination at such a young age made Rizwan stand out. His humble beginnings became the foundation of a remarkable story, a story that would one day inspire thousands to believe in themselves, no matter how hopeless their circumstances seemed. Backhand index pointing right. Step 1 takeaway. Your background does not decide your future. Dreams are valid, even in the toughest of places. As Rizwan grew older, life tested him even more harshly. Poverty tightened its grip on his family. Some days, his father returned home empty-handed from the fields, his hands blistered but his pockets empty. There were nights when the family had nothing to eat except stale bread and water. Yet, Rizwan never let hunger kill his hunger for knowledge. Every morning, he woke up before sunrise to help his father plow the fields. His tiny hands struggled with the heavy tools, but he worked tirelessly, knowing that without his contribution, the family might not survive. After hours of labor under the burning sun, Rizwan would clean himself quickly and rush to school. Often late, often without breakfast, but always with determination. At school, his struggles continued. His classmates came from slightly better backgrounds. They wore neat uniforms, carried proper bags, and laughed at Rizwan's torn shirt and worn-out sandals. Some mocked him openly. "Why do you even come to school, Rizwan? You'll end up in the fields just like your father." The words hurt, but instead of breaking his spirit, they fueled his determination. He whispered silently, "One day, the same people who laugh at me will clap for me." Studying at night was another battle. His home had no electricity, and the weak flame of a kerosene lamp was barely enough to light a single page. Many nights, smoke from the lamp stung his eyes, making it impossible to read. But Rizwan refused to stop. He often sat under the streetlight near the village road, ignoring the mosquitoes and the cold night breeze, just to finish his homework. The villagers shook their heads in disbelief. "This boy is wasting his time. Education cannot fill an empty stomach," they said. But Rizwan had already decided. He would not let circumstances write his destiny. His biggest challenge, however, was his own exhaustion. Balancing farm work and school left him drained. Many nights he fell asleep over his books, only to wake up at dawn to repeat the same cycle. He wanted to cry, to give up, but each time he looked at his father's rough, tired hands, Rizwan reminded himself, "If I succeed, I can change his life. I cannot quit now." These struggles were brutal, but they became the fire that shaped Rizwan's resilience. Each hardship carved strength into his soul, making him ready for the turning point that would change his life forever. Backhand index pointing right. Step 2 takeaway. Struggles are painful, but they are also the training ground for greatness. Every journey has a moment where the darkness begins to give way to light. For Rizwan, that moment came through an unexpected source, his school teacher, Mr. Imran. One afternoon, Rizwan stayed back in the classroom, trying hard to solve a math problem. His classmates had already left, but he kept scribbling on his rough notebook, frustration in his eyes. Mr. Imran noticed him and asked gently, "Rizwan, why are you still here?" With hesitation, Rizwan admitted, "Sir, I don't have proper books at home. I try, but I can't solve these problems without guidance." That day, Mr. Imran saw something in Rizwan that others had missed, a burning desire to learn. Instead of scolding him, he reached into his old cupboard and pulled out a pile of second-hand books. "Take these, Rizwan. They are old, but they will help you. Promise me one thing, don't stop studying." Rizwan's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, someone believed in his dream. Holding those books felt like holding a treasure chest. He promised, "Sir, I will not stop. I will make you proud." From that day onward, Rizwan studied with renewed energy. He stopped caring about the villagers' mocking words or the hardships at home. Those donated books became his most precious possession. Every page turned into hope, every solved problem a step closer to his dream. But the turning point wasn't just about books, it was about a shift in mindset. Rizwan realized that he didn't need wealth, fancy clothes, or approval from society. All he needed was knowledge, persistence, and faith. He began to win small competitions at school, essay contests, quizzes, debates. Each victory, though small, silenced a few voices of doubt around him. His classmates, who once laughed, started noticing his talent. Some even came to him for help with their studies. Slowly, the tide began to change. Rizwan also started to visualize his future. At night, under the same streetlight, he would close his eyes and imagine himself as someone respected, someone capable of building a better life, not only for himself, but also for his family and village. That vision kept him alive during his hardest nights. The turning point taught him a lesson. A single act of kindness, a little encouragement, can ignite the fire of change. Without those secondhand books and that teacher's belief, Rizwan's journey might have ended in silence. But now it was just beginning. Back in index pointing right, step 3, takeaway. Sometimes one person's belief can change the entire course of your life. The real turning point is in your mindset. After the turning point, Rizwan's life became a relentless cycle of work, study, and sacrifice. But unlike before, this time he carried hope inside him, a hope that gave him the strength to endure every hardship with a smile. Each day began before sunrise. Rizwan would join his father in the fields, his small hands blistered from handling heavy tools. The soil was hard, the sun merciless, but he worked without complaint. As soon as the farm duties were done, he would rush home, quickly wash up, and head to school with his bag of secondhand books. Evenings belonged to his studies. Whether under the dim light of the kerosene lamp or beneath the buzzing streetlight, Rizwan devoured his books with unmatched focus. His friends often invited him to play, but he politely refused. "I cannot waste time," he would tell them. "My future depends on what I do today." His determination began to show results. Rizwan's grades improved dramatically. He no longer stood at the bottom of the class. He was climbing toward the top. Teachers praised his dedication, and his classmates started respecting him. The boy they once mocked for his torn clothes was now admired for his brilliance. But the journey was not without setbacks. There were days when exhaustion made his head spin, nights when hunger made it hard to focus, and moments when doubts whispered in his mind. What if all this effort leads to nothing? Yet, each time, Rizwan reminded himself why he started. His father's tired hands, his mother's worried eyes, and his own burning dream of a better life. He developed habits of discipline. Rizwan made daily study schedules, revised lessons multiple times, and sought extra guidance from teachers whenever possible. Slowly, he became an example for others in the village. Parents began pointing at him and telling their children, "Look at Rizwan. He studies day and night. Learn from him." One day, a local newspaper featured Rizwan as the boy who studies under streetlights. That small article made him a symbol of hope, not just in his school, but across nearby villages. Strangers came to meet him, inspired by his relentless spirit. For Rizwan, however, the fame didn't matter. What mattered was progress. The boy who once had no books now had dreams taller than mountains. His struggles had shaped him into someone unshakable. Every drop of sweat, Every sleepless night and every sacrifice was turning into the bricks of his success. This was Rizwan's phase of unstoppable growth. He wasn't just studying for himself anymore. He was working for a future where his family could live with dignity, where no child in his village would be denied education because of poverty. Back-end index pointing right. Step 4. Takeaway. Hard work may be painful, but is the path that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Years of struggle, sacrifice, and relentless hard work finally bore fruit. Rizwan sat nervously in the small examination hall, his pen moving quickly across the answer sheet. He had prepared for this day all his life, the board exams that would decide his future. When the results were announced, the entire village gathered around the notice board. Rizwan's heart pounded in his chest as he searched for his name. And there it was, Rizwan, roll number 17, top position in the district. Tears rolled down his eyes. He couldn't believe it. The boy who once studied under the dim glow of a streetlight had now become a district topper. His teachers hugged him. The villagers who once mocked him now clapped for him, and his parents wept with pride. His father whispered, "My son has given me more honor than I could ever imagine." But Rizwan didn't stop there. With scholarships and sponsorships, he went on to pursue higher education in the city. The adjustment wasn't easy. The city was fast, competitive, and filled with students from privileged backgrounds. Rizwan often felt out of place, but his determination kept him going. He remembered his roots, his struggles, and the promise he made to his teacher and himself. Never give up. Step by step, Rizwan rose higher. His dedication made him one of the brightest students in university. He earned a gold medal, won awards, and later secured a respectable job that transformed not just his life, but also his family's. His parents finally moved into a proper house, free from the constant fear of rain or hunger. But Rizwan's true success wasn't just personal. It was in giving back. He returned to his village and built a small learning center where children could study without worrying about poverty. He provided books, lamps, and guidance for free. He wanted no child to face the same struggles he had endured. Standing in front of those children, Rizwan often shared his journey. "I was once like you, barefoot, hopeless, and laughed at. But I learned one thing. Your past does not define your future. Hard work, faith, and persistence will take you anywhere you want to go." His story spread across newspapers, television, and social media. Rizwan became a living example that dreams do come true, no matter where you start. He proved that greatness is not limited to the rich or privileged. It belongs to anyone who dares to believe and works for it. Back-end index pointing right, final message / takeaway. Success is not about where you come from. It's about where you choose to go. If you keep pushing forward with faith and hard work, the world will make way for you.